Good morning, all the Interest TV viewers and listeners. Tecnotree published a couple of pretty interesting stock releases on Friday, and on this video we will walk those releases through with the company's CEO Padma Ravichander and CFO Priyesh Ranjan. Welcome both of you. Hopefully you have stayed healthy and been able to enjoy the summer as well.
Thank you, Joonas, very much. Yes, we have, and thank you for joining us today. And we've had a good summer, and everybody in the company has also survived COVID quite well. So we are blessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joonas. Good to be here.
Let's get straight to the point. What are the main reasons behind directed share issue, and did you consider rights issue at all?
Okay, maybe I'll start, and then definitely our CFO has all the mathematics behind it, and he will add value to it. If I have to sort of describe the whole journey of Tecnotree, where we are today compared to when I became CEO, I think I can sort of describe it in three phases of growth. When I joined Tecnotree, as you well know, as CEO in 2016, the company had just announced debt restructuring, and it was my job to implement it and to bring the company in order through a debt restructuring phase. It was an extremely difficult situation for us, and it was a mode of survival. So we had to have very, very stringent measures in which we managed our costs while we continued to focus on our customers, focus on the orders we had in hand, and continue to develop and deliver credible products to our customers while continuing to figure out how to survive, literally. That was phase one of my journey as CEO. In phase two, while we were trying to learn how to survive, we were also very, very aggressively looking to strengthen and stabilize the company for the longer term. So it's not a very short-sighted view of survival. We took a very longer term approach that the company can come out of debt restructuring and do it extremely aggressively and gracefully. And therefore, we worked towards getting new investors on board while we were continuing to learn how to survive. And in doing so, I think we stabilized the company. We took out 20 million euros worth of cost in about 2.5 years out of the company in a very, very strategic way. I've talked about this before. And while doing that, we also tried to strengthen our R&D and our product strategy, continue to deliver with the existing customers and deepen our relationships with the existing customers, as well as look to strengthen our marketing and sales program within the company. And we brought in a good set of new investors into the company, and that was 2018. And the new investors were really long-term investors with very, very strategic interests in seeing Tecnotree become truly a global company. And that was phase two. So phase one was survival. Phase two was stabilization and strengthening the company with new investments. I truly believe as of now, the company is all set, okay, to deliver phase three. And I would call phase three the surge. It is, we are ready to play the big game. We are ready. We have stabilized. We have a track record in terms of financial performance. We have very stable tier one customers around the globe. We serve close to 1 billion subscribers around the world. The company has a history of being in the telecom space long enough. And now as 5G and cloud requirements and the digital transformations requirements across industries and within telecom industry are accelerating, Tecnotree is poised to take on and grow our products and our services around the globe. And I call this the surge phase of the company. We have publicly announced that we will be striving to become $1 billion company. And our horizon is not a 1 or a 2 year investment horizon. Our horizon is a 5-year horizon, as we have described it. And we believe we have a very, very powerful strategy where we are going to take our customers and our employees along in making that dream come true. And this is when we are a full-fledged company to take on new frontiers, new geographies. And in the announcements that you have seen, both in terms of investments, in terms of removing Viking as a debt provider, and the investments we are making in our employees, are all streamlined to make that strategy a reality. If you look at the investments are an imperative for our growth. It comes from long-term relationships I have held with these investors. Both are Finnish investors. Mr. Hammarin and Mr. Koisti are known to me right when I started as CEO. I've knocked on their doors and we've had several conversations, and they've been watching and learning about the company and even mentoring me as I went along the journey of survival and strengthening and stabilization, and I want to thank them for it. And now when we are ready to surge, they're ready to step in and support us in the long-term strategy of the company and fund a very, very critical aspect of our growth. Why is that critical? Because when we have decided and set our eyes on $1 billion target, we need no fetters, we need no shackles to hold us back. And having a debt from one of our competitors is definitely a shackle. So this frees us from it. It also, by not being in debt restructuring, we are sending a very clear signal to the market, especially our prospective new customers, that we are ready to do business in new geographies and acquire new customers to do business with. And if you look at our business, we are a mission critical software provider to the telecom and digital service provider landscape. And so when they are trying to enter into a partnership, it's not a customer and a supplier relationship, it is a partnership. They do financial due diligence on us before they decide to choose us. And there is plenty of competition available out there. So our ability to knock off every deterrent from our growth strategy is what we are focused on. And one of those very important landmark checkbox is getting off debt and being out of debt restructuring. And I truly believe it was a landmark publication when we published that we have settled our debt with Viking and we are off to the third phase of our growth strategy. So I really believe that with our digital stack, with our announcement on fintech that we are commercially viable on a digital platform. And most recently, last week, we also announced in TM Forum that we have come up with an ecosystem of partners and third-party providers in the area of IoT, sports and entertainment, and education to support digital service providers and CSPs look at new revenue acceleration and revenue generation markets. And for that is a global footprint for Tecnotree, and we need to have the viability to enter new geographies. And I believe all the 4 announcements we have made are critical, vital steps towards the strategy.
And just to add to what Padma said, I think that's a strategic framework under which the company has been operating. And to answer the specific question of what exactly did we do under that umbrella of now that we are going into the surge phase, we have stabilized, strengthened, we are going into the surge phase. The traction of our products in the market is very encouraging. And and with the advent of 5G, I think we have a window where we can acquire significant new logos. And all of that can happen if we have a very competitive product, which we have. And at the same time, we also pass the diligence tests of the new customers in particular. So with that, obviously, the path was very clear. The question was, how do you walk on that path? So one of the options that you said was, did you try to avail rights issue? And we have provided that information, though in brief, in the announcement that yes, the company did everything possible within its right to check if the rights issue was feasible. We contacted almost 60-62% of the investors, and the response that we got was not that of an inclination towards participating, which kind of put a question mark on the rights issue itself. We did research on what happened if we did a non-reliable rights issue like we did in the past 5 years, and the experience was very bad. I think the shareholders lost almost 40-50% of the wealth when Tecnotree attempted to do the rights issue last time. So we were a little worried. We tried to see if we could underwrite the rights issue by contacting some large investment banks and seeing if somebody would be willing to pick up the tab on the unsubscribed rights issue. Unfortunately, again, being under restructuring was a problem for allocation of capital by some of the institutional funds. So that was an impediment. And the way it happened towards the end was we reached a point where almost 60% of the existing shareholders were not inclined. The cost of doing the rights issue is very high. The time and the effort that goes into the rights issue is very high. And when the success is, when you know that you are going to fail, we were not left with many options but to not go down that path. So that's on the rights issue. Now on the discount part, this is another thing, and let me just say that all of us are, when the market says that 20% discount for a 10% stake, I am also in the same boat, Padma is also in the same boat, we are also all in the same boat of being diluted to the extent of 10%. My answer to that question is, it's actually not 20%. Tecnotree is a very fast growing company, and these transactions don't happen in a day. So without going into a lot of details on what the discount, etc., was, the discount actually was significantly lower than that 15%, and the price was locked. So after that, if maybe the share price, we don't control the share price, the share price would have come down for whatever reason, then the investors would have looked silly because the discount could have been 5%, 6% for a 30 million share. So I understand few things. These are marquee Finnish investors, long-term in nature, and they are putting substantial money on the table, which honestly the company needs, like Padma explained, for the search. So we needed the capital. Okay, we did not have much option through our existing shareholders, so we also wanted to move fast. And the window to do all of this is also quite thin. If we miss the boat today with respect to going on the surge path, then we would be doing a greater disservice to our shareholders than saving them 3 or 4 percentage points here or there. I think the goal that even these investors are looking at, honestly, I've been negotiating with them, is not saving 3%, 4% additional here or there. I think the general theme or the general growth philosophy before they entered into this is something much, much bigger. And if you look at the various other benefits, I think the liquidity benefit is fantastic. This is a long-term investment by Finnish shareholders. Those are the key, some of the opportunity to come out of litigation. So a lot of shackles are broken, and this frees up the company to start its trajectory on what Padma described as the surge phase of the company.
You mentioned that coming out of debt restructuring would enable you to participate in certain geographies. What are these assumably new geographies, and what is your growth strategy in these specific areas?
So basically, if you look at technology and how technology has evolved, it's certainly the growth in technology, the pervasiveness of technology across the globe has become much rapid and very global. So there is a unifying factor that, in terms of how technology treats geographies. It doesn't care, if you either have the technology or you don't. Geographies don't matter in terms of doing commerce or in terms of educating populations, in terms of offering entertainment and sports, or in terms of offering any other type of digital services. So I really believe that, when we had the debt and we were in debt restructuring, as I already mentioned to you, in the surge phase, we have set our eyes on a very clear 5-year plan towards evolving the company to $1 billion company. We have a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and so on and so forth. The basic tenet of being capable of arriving here and having such a plan was really propelled post-COVID, when we announced in 2020 that we have integrated a full financial services capability on our digital platform, and we are fintech ready, because we really believe that the margin between a telecom provider and a bank is narrowing and converging rapidly. And any digital services provider today has to have commercial viability and capability with zero touch to complete a transaction. So it was a very strategic move on our part to integrate fintech and a digital wallet we call Diva, Tecnotree Diva, into our digital platform. That was a very strategic move. The second strategic move is we looked at our company and we said we serve about 50 to 70 service providers, communication service providers. We have a 40-year legacy and history around telecom and telecommunication capability. We have a gold badge from TM Forum for our compliance to telecom standards. 70 to 80% of all our employees are extremely competent in and are certified as TM Forum certified employees and consultants. Therefore, we really believe that we also have an access to a huge market. In fact, it is believed that our software touches the life of 800 million to 1 billion people out there. Now, how do we accelerate revenue generation and share of wealth with this population from a geography perspective is our ability to invest more in certain types of partner ecosystems and bring new types of multi-experience capability, bundling education with entertainment, bundling sports with media, and so on and so forth, and creating new multi-experiences capable digital marketplaces around the geographies. So geography is converging, and our ability to penetrate and invest in our product and take our products to these existing subscriber base and new subscriber bases around the world virtually is what we talk about when we say geographical expansion. We will go to places where we have never been. We will acquire new customers we have never spoken to before. And to do that, we need to ensure that we are a credible marquee digital platform provider. And getting out of debt restructuring absolutely puts a tick in the box from that perspective.
Yeah, I think one of the important factors, particularly in acquiring new logo and even at the cost of being repetitive, is because we provide mission critical and long-term product and service to customer, is financial reliability. So that is one thing that we need to demonstrate, and being under debt restructuring kind of makes it a little difficult for the company to defend that position that we are a long-term, reliable, financially stable partner who provides products and services, which is also important for their existence.
Good. Another interesting topic on Friday's releases was the settled claims with Viking Acquisition Corporation. Could you open the background of these claims a little bit? What is this all about?
Yeah. So Viking has, let me start by saying Viking is also a competitor to Tecnotree. So it becomes a little tricky when a competitor of yours is also a lender to the company. So there are a lot of obvious things which has happened in the past, which like filing for bankruptcy, so on and so forth, gives you enough data points to imagine that while we were carrying this debt and we decided to come out of restructuring, it also helped us in operationally benefiting by not having a competitor be a lender. Okay. So Viking is also not, it's an active to a slightly negative degree, I would say, without getting into a lot of points. And they also filed a legal claim against the company, which we have now agreed to settle. Obviously, this is subject to a few things happening, but I think all of this will tie off together, like you will see. So we come out of restructuring, the legal cases go off, and then we have some capital left to start on the surge path that the Tecnotree has now charted for itself. And we have also given a glimpse of what kind of a path that the management thinks it can do in the next 5 years through the third announcement that we have made. So if you bring all these stories together, I think the pieces will become very clear. And then you will realize that given all of those bigger picture and bigger dreams that Tecnotree has in its phase 3, a few percentage discount here and there, maybe in 1 or 2 or 3 years term, will become a distant thing in our back view mirror. God favoring, we will have a time when the shareholders will love us for what we have done today. So coming back to your pointed question of Viking and then the debt, I think we would rather want to come off it than have them remain as a lender, even if we have to come out of restructuring. So on both fronts, I think it's a plus.
Good. Thanks a lot for your answers, Padma and Priyesh. And we will talk a bit more about your actual operational performance on Q2 result day, which is actually exactly a month away. Thanks once again.
Thank you so very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.